The Kamala Harris campaign is suffering. They are having a really tough time out there. As we'll see in a moment, they're now trotting out Barack Obama in all of his glory to do this routine. The levels of missteps by this campaign are truly incredible at this point. So if you take a look at the swing states right now, in the Real Clear Politics polling average nationally, Harris is up a couple of points. But in the swing states, according to the Real Clear Politics polling average, Trump now has a slight lead in Pennsylvania, a bigger lead actually in Michigan. He leads in Arizona, he leads in North Carolina, he leads in Georgia. And now remember, all he has to do is win North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, which he's going to win all three of those. And then he has to pick off one of the blue wall states. Right now, he is leading in at least two, and perhaps all three. In fact, there's internal polling that President Trump just released. It was a poll conducted by Tony Fabrizio and John McLaughlin, and it found Trump with leads ranging from 1 to 5 percentage points, not only in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, but also in Nevada. According to that internal polling, Trump is leading by 3% in Arizona. He's leading by 5% in Georgia. He's leading by 1 in Michigan. He's leading by 3 in Nevada, 1 in North Carolina, 1 in Pennsylvania, 1 in Wisconsin. Now, again, these are all within margin of error. It's still a very close election, but it is very obvious that the momentum is with the Republicans at this point. The New York Times is now admitting that Republicans are about to gain control of the Senate. And they are. I mean, they're going to gain control of the Senate because Jim Justice is going to win in West Virginia, and Tim Sheehy is going to win in Montana. And then it's just a question of how many swing states Republicans can pick up. So yesterday, I spent time campaigning with Bernie Moreno in Ohio. Bernie is going to win that Senate seat over Sherrod Brown, who's a terrible senator and has been there longer than I've been alive, picking up taxpayer money. Bernie's a terrific candidate. He's going to win over there. That's going to make 52 for the Republicans. Last week, I was out campaigning in Wisconsin with Eric Hovde. He's going to defeat Tammy Baldwin, I believe, in that race. How do I know? Well, because the last time there was a Wisconsin Senate race where a Republican was even running close, Ron Johnson was running 3 to 5 points behind his opponent and ended up winning that seat. Right now, Hovde is running dead even with Tammy Baldwin. He's got the momentum. I think he wins that race. That takes you to 53. And then you have Dave McCormick. Dave McCormick is, of course, running against Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, running a really tight race there. McCormick is a terrific disciplined candidate. I think Dave pulls that one out too. We'll be campaigning with him a little bit later on. Yeah, to me, it's obviously very important that Republicans take the Senate because, again, the Ta-Nehisi Coates worldview rides strong in the Democratic Party and must be defeated. And my hope is that Republicans end up with something like 54 seats. But even the New York Times is now admitting that Republicans appear poised to take control of the Senate. And the latest polling from the New York Times and Siena College shows Republicans leading by 4 in Texas, that's Cruz over Allred, by 8 in Montana, where she is blowing out John Tester. Rick Scott is beating Debbie McCarcel Powell by 9 points, according to this same polling. So it looks very much as though Republicans are in control in the Senate races. There is one race that's sort of weird, and that is the re-election bid of Senator Deb Fischer, Republican of Nebraska. She's running against an independent named Dan Osborne, and that one is looking a little tighter than it probably should. But Democrats certainly do not have the momentum at this point in time, and they're basically admitting it. According to Politico, Democrats are deploying prominent black surrogates to Michigan to deliver an urgent plea. Black men, we need you. This is one of the reasons why people like Barack Obama are going back out on the trail. Black turnout for Kamala Harris is not nearly what it was for Barack Obama, for a wide variety of reasons, including the fact that Kamala Harris is running a really anti-male campaign. Black males in particular are not warm to it. They see her as what she is, an upper crust coastal elite who has no connection to their lives or their problems. They are correct in this assessment, by the way. Every year when Apple releases the new iPhone, the big carriers play those same old games. Sign your life away for the next 2 years, get a free iPhone. Don't fall for that one. With Pure Talk, you can get great savings on the new iPhone 16, and you can still get an affordable data plan that fits your needs on America's most dependable 5G network. How would I know? Because I have the new iPhone 16 from Pure Talk. Bottom line, stop falling into the same traps and overpaying for data you're not going to use. With Pure Talk, for just $35 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data, plus mobile hotspot on America's most dependable 5G network. Here's the best part. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk on a qualifying plan, you get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. That's access to our full library of DW Plus movies, series, and documentaries, including Lady Ballers, What is a Woman, Mr. Bertram, and Run, Hide, Fight. Plus, uncensored ad-free daily shows, 1 year free of our kids platform Bentkey, and your very own free Leftist Tears Tumblr. The only way you can get this special offer is by going to puretalk.com/Shapiro or call and mention my name. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan right now. Go to puretalk.com/Shapiro today. Switch to a qualifying plan. Get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. Obama is out there campaigning on behalf of Kamala Harris. And I have to say, the way that he talks to black men, as though membership, again, in the black category means you inherently have to vote for the other black person, is really pretty insulting. It really is. As though all black people have the same experience in the United States or the same ideas in the United States. And blackness is not a religion like Jewishness, right? Judaism has a religious component. You can be a black liberal, you can be a black conservative. It's a color of your skin. But according to Barack Obama, you need to vote for Kamala because Kamala is a member of your victim class.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
Notice that at no point does he actually make an argument that she's going to make your life better or be a good president of the United States. He simply says she's a member of your victim class. If she's a member of your victim class, you better get out there and vote for a member of your victim class. This is why I say Ta-Nehisi Coates, Barack Obama, separated by some of their lingo, not particularly separated in terms of their worldview. It turns out that's really off-putting. People don't like it very much. It also turns out that, you know what's off-putting? The absolute disdain that members of the upper echelon of the Democratic Party have for normies. It really is an amazing thing. They're running a campaign where they need to win a blue wall state. All three of these states are blue collar. All three of these states have probably a higher than average number of, say, Catholics. That's true certainly for Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And yet, Gretchen Whitmer, who is the awful governor of Michigan, she cut a video yesterday with a podcaster named Liz Plank that if this wasn't what they're going for, I don't know what they're going for. It is pretty clearly a derogatory reference to communion. I'm not sure how else to read this exactly. There have been some attempts to say this is just a meme that's going around, but for those who are not memesters, I mean, you talk about two online. This looks as though Gretchen Whitmer is mocking communion by Liz Plank is on her knees in weird, it's just weird. These people are weird. On her knees, receiving into her mouth a Dorito put into her mouth by Gretchen Whitmer, who's wearing a Harris Walls hat. The disdain for kind of normal people that rolls off the Democratic Party at this point is truly an incredible thing. Here we go. For those who can't see, it's Liz Plank accepting into her mouth, a la communion, a Dorito from Gretchen Whitmer, who's wearing a Harris Walls hat and then nodding into camera. It's like a Dom sub weird thing going on. They are so strange. And they're not just strange. They have disdain for Americans, true disdain for America. I mean, if you're a Catholic and you watch that, I don't know how else you read that, except that Gretchen Whitmer, she ain't hot on the Catholics. The religious symbolism there, pretty obvious, I think, to anyone. Meanwhile, how do you really know the Democrats are in trouble? Tim Walz is out there openly saying they should get rid of the Electoral College. When you are in an active race for the presidency and you say we should dump the Electoral College, you're admitting you're losing. That's what that is. You're admitting that you might win the popular vote and lose the Electoral College vote. That's the only reason you want to dump the Electoral College. You want to change the rules of the game. So here's Tim Walz being made uncomfortable, being asked a tough question about, this is how bad journalism has gotten. Apparently the toughest journalist they could find was Michael Strahan, one of the few people to ask a difficult question of a Democrat during this election cycle.
I want to go back to something you said on Tuesday. You said, I think all of us know the Electoral College needs to go. But the campaign came out later that night, and they said that's not their stance.
Yeah. Well, it's not the campaign's position. And the point I'm trying to make is that there's folks that feel every vote must count in every state. Mm-hmm. And I think some of folks feel that's not the case. Our campaign does that. And the point I'm saying is I'm in 5 states in 2 days. We're out there making the case that the campaign's position is clear, that that's not their position. Their position and my position is to make sure that everybody understands their vote, no matter what state they're in, matters.
So that's something that you and Vice President Harris disagree on?
I have spoken about it in the past, that she's been very clear on this, and the campaign, and my position is the campaign's position.
Yeah, so there he is trying to walk it back. Well, he is a numbskull, as he has declared.